In a previous life, about 20 years ago, I was teaching writing and literature to college and high school students. My job was to help students figure out the soul in their writing. I looked for that unique spark that happens when a human tries to explain the world to another human. So, the first time I saw an AI write what seemed to be the perfect essay, in 3 seconds, it felt like a personal attack. It felt like the magic of human thought had been captured in a box. But now that I work in technology, I have realized something really important. There is no magic in the box. The magic is still in the person holding that box. Today, I want to take that box apart with you so you can see exactly why your unique spark is still the most valuable thing in the room. But before we look at the technology, we have to understand one word that gets thrown around a lot, and that word is model. When we talk about ChatGPT or Gemini, these really popular AI tools, we're talking about large language models. But what is a model really? Think of a pair of dice. If you roll 2 dice, you're going to get a number between 1 and 12. And some of you might know that you are much more likely to roll a 7 than you are to roll a 2 or a 12. There are 6 different ways to roll a 7, but only one way to roll a 2. We could create a mathematical model that explains this. That model doesn't know what you are going to roll next, but it can predict the probability of a 7 versus a 2 with absolute accuracy. The AI we interact with today uses a similar kind of model, except instead of a few sides of a die, it is looking at the billions of words written over the past few thousand years. It has done a deep dive into how sentences, paragraphs, poems, and books are all arranged together. It has built a model based on those word patterns, which is why we call them large language models or LLMs. Just as a dice model can predict the likelihood of rolling a 7, an LLM can predict how you might want a rough email transformed into a polished message to your boss. The model has studied tons of emails to bosses, and it has come up with a way to predict the version of that email that will likely keep that boss happy. Another way to think about this is the weather. When you see the weatherman on TV telling you it's going to rain this weekend, he is using a model, a weather model. He doesn't know it's going to rain. He isn't a psychic. But based on the weather model, he can tell you the probability. That model helps you decide if you should pack a waterproof jacket for that 5-mile hike you have planned this weekend. Just like the AI, the weatherman could be wrong, but that doesn't make the model worthless. It just helps you to be more informed. The AI feels like magic because it is so fast, but it is really just a very sophisticated version of that weather report or those dice. What makes it feel so weird is that it is the first technology in history that talks back to us. It feels like a who, but it is a what. As I mentioned, I spent years grading essays and looking for the logic behind the words. I wanted to see a student's mind at work. But when you type a question into an LLM, you aren't seeing a mind at work. You are seeing that dice model we just talked about, but on a massive scale. It isn't thinking, it isn't knowing, it is simply calculating the most likely next word based on patterns it found in those billions of pages of text. Think about when you're texting a friend on your iPhone. You start to type a word, and before you can finish it, your phone suggests the next word right above the keyboard. And that's called autofill. It's not that your phone is listening to you or reading your mind. It simply looked at the billions of messages ever sent and figured out what word is most likely to come next. AI works the exact same way, but on a massive scale. Instead of predicting the next word in a text message, it's predicting the next word in an essay, a research report, or an email to that boss. It is super autofill, and that's all it is. Just like the dice model knows a 7 is most likely the result you're going to get, this model knows that in a professional email, calling your boss bruh is a very unlikely way you're going to want to address her. It has no intent. AI has no skin in the game. It's just providing a likely prediction based on what it has learned from language and you. It's a mirror of us, but it is a mirror with no soul. When you realize that AI is just math and statistics pretending to be a person, the power dynamic shifts. You aren't being replaced by a better brain. You're being handed a high speed intern who is incredibly fast, but without a human editor. That intern is also incredibly average. In fact, it's designed to be average. Just like that 7 is the average result of a dice roll, AI gives you average results. And you don't want average results. You want exceptional results. And that is where your human judgment comes in. In my work training global teams, I recently tried to use a top tier AI model to help a client with a complex ethical dilemma in their supply chain. The AI gave us a perfect, polished 5-page report. On the surface, it looked brilliant. But when I read it with a strategist lens, it was wrong. It missed a subtle cultural nuance that only a person who has spent 20 years on the ground would catch. The AI is optimized for sounding right, not for being right. This is the gap. The machine can handle the production, but you, and only you, can handle the governance, the judgment. You're the one who knows the why. You are the one who understands the stakes. If we let the machine drive all by itself, we get a polished disaster. The writing will look obviously like AI wrote it. You've probably seen those posts on LinkedIn. Polished disaster. When you drive the machine, you get a superpower with your voice. The machine helps, but you are in control. This is why you aren't being replaced. You're being promoted to the role of the director. Let's learn how to use this new tool to reinforce it. And as for those LinkedIn posts that look so obviously like an AI robot wrote them, well, it's because Those people are letting AI be the boss. And AI does not act like a great boss. It is an extraordinarily average boss. You need to be the boss who just got a powerful new tool to help you be an exceptional leader. Thank you for watching.